Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Wealthy LaLa Show with myself, Laurie Laursen. How are you guys doing today? I'm looking forward to today's show. Uh, I know I started off with this whole show being like, Majestic Monday, Curious Monday, Tasty Tuesday, Wisdom Wednesday. And as much as it was really a great place to start, I actually find that I just want to record what I want to record on whatever day I want to record it. So, basically all of those things are going to fall under any possible day. Throw in a recipe, throw in, a joke, throw in wisdom, throw in thankfulness, it's going to come any day at any time, and not just particularly because I assigned a certain day to that. I'm really grateful that I chose that to start with, and I just find that it feels kind of limiting in a way, and and I guess it's my show, and I can do what I want. I can do what I want. Ha! I can even sing on this show. How'd you guys get so lucky? I know, Laurie, you don't have to record an album anytime soon. Okay, so people, what do we want to talk about today? I want to talk about the magic of leveraging 68 seconds. And you're like, Laurie? Hey, Laurie girl, what are you talking about? I know, right? What am I talking about? Now, I will tell you, this will probably be a really good show to listen to about 100 times, because I tell you, I've probably heard this about 100 times. And there's a willingness in my world to actually let myself receive it and choose it now that I did not have before. Okay, so what is this? Now, I will start with saying where I got this information originally from was there's this woman, Esther Hicks, her and her husband has since passed away, but Esther and Jerry Hicks. If you look, you can find them on YouTube. So Esther channels a group of beings that's called Abraham. And Jerry her husband was a huge instigator in this whole process. And so Jerry passed away a handful of years ago, and Esther continues to channel, and she actually does workshops for the most part in the US. And she does do some cruises. So you can find them on Abraham Hicks. Just Google that and you can find other information. So Abraham is a group of beings. So basically, part of source, all that is, whatever you want, the universe, whatever you want to call it. And they channel information through Esther. So people ask questions. Now, so that's kind of where I got this information. The second thing that I want to share is that I know I've shared this on previous shows, but just a great reminder, because we live in such a world that we've made so solidified, and we believe it to be very, very solid, that actually when you really look at things and you break it down and break it down and break it down, everything is energy. Okay, so the preface of this magic of the leverage of 68 seconds. So so first of all, if you guys think about something, so say a house. Okay, so you're going to build a house. Well, you have the thought of building the house first. So the house actually exists in your world energetically before it becomes a physical, solid reality in your world. And actually, the same thing can be said for a relationship or a baby. You get the idea that you'd like to have a baby, and then you end up doing sort of whatever it takes to create that. Well, that's the same thing with a house. It's with a chair. That things they do exist energetically before they, are created physically. Now, we live in a reality that is very much, especially those of us that live in North America, it's very much of a reality that is work hard, get things done. Um, you have to do, you have to sell, you have to advertise. Um, it's very, very much more of a doing than a being, um, community of beings, okay? Especially, like I said, in North America. Now, what I've been learning is that if you actually desire to create something in your life, what you actually want to do is get to the energy of it. So the energy of what that house would feel like to you, the energy of what it would like to, say, be a mother or a father, depending on, who you are. You would like to have a relationship or have a different kind of relationship, or you would like to have a career. You need to be able to get the energy of the creation that you desire to create before you can actually create it. I know, it's kind of a mind blower. So now what Abraham talks about, so going back to Abraham Hicks and Esther Hicks, okay, so what Abraham talks about is that when you take the energy of this pure focused thought, so the pure focused thought, let's say, is, a healthy body, okay? And you hold it for, first of all, 17 seconds, okay? What begins to happen is as you hold basically this dream, this vision, this thought, the energy of what you would like to create in your head, okay, in your mind, as you hold it, what ends up happening is energetically, the universe, the quantum physics, the quantum entanglements, the particulates, the elementals, like whatever you want to call it, starts to create, and you start to actually attract more of that same. Okay. Now you guys just think about it in the opposite end of things. Okay. So this is creating something we want. Believe it or not, that when you start going, you know what? That person really pissed me off this morning. Look at how they cut me off in traffic. That's really annoying. Now, say you are on a highway and someone has cut you off, and you're now following them, you're watching them, say, past someone else, and you allow that thought, that energy to stay in your world for 17 seconds, you are actually going to start attracting more like thoughts, okay? It's like the energy that you are being is the energy of what you're going to continue to create. Now, do you notice that? Like, if you guys, can you think of a thing where you have that happen? Or say you get up in the morning and the alarm clock just annoys you, and then the next thing you know, you can't find anything good to wear. And then you think about the day that's up and coming and how you don't feel like it. Maybe you have inventory at work. And then the next thing you know, you start thinking about that argument that you had with your partner, or how your teenager annoyed you. And then it becomes this spiral. And so often we allow that to become then something so much greater. And believe it or not, it's like the quantum field responds not to what we want, it responds to who we're being. And so when we take those thoughts and we allow them to continue on in our mind, the universe is like, oh, that's what you'd like. The universe is neutral, okay? And so it's like, oh, that's what you'd like. That's what you're asking for. Okay, so we'll just give you more. And so then your day just goes down the rabbit hole, right? Like, I'm sure you know that. Well, we are so used to that rabbit hole being right, having a bad day being right, having empathy, getting sympathy, having other people support us for having a bad day, that we've actually created and felt that that kind of thing is normal. Well, if you actually do desire to create something different, that's actually the answer to creating that. You just want to flip it to the things that you would like to create. So this is where I actually realized today, because I was reading Dr. Joe Dispenza's book again, Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. I'll put the link on the Podbean site if you guys would like to check it out through Amazon. But is that when you start to like you literally have to like build a new muscle to create something. So that's when he talks about breaking the habit of being yourself. So if you're a self that gets into the habit of being negative and then allowing the negative to continue on, you think you're at the effect of, you think that you were, because this person cut you off, that all of a sudden then the rest of your day just goes down. Well, it wasn't my fault. That guy cut me off. Where it actually becomes a muscle and a choice on our part is to go, you know what, this is not actually what I desire to create as my day. Dr. Joe Dispenza, this is actually his quote that I said earlier, was the quantum field responds not to what we want, it responds to who we're being. So if we're being pissy, the universe will, continue to gift us, surprise and delight us with more being pissy. So if we actually desire to create something different, and this is the interesting thing is, do you actually really desire to create something different? Are you willing to be a Pollyanna? Are you willing to allow yourself to receive the wealth, the abundance, the playfulness, the inspiration? Because if you do actually desire that, this is what you must do in order to create something greater. So back to the 68 seconds. So this is what Abraham teaches, okay? When a pure focused thought is held for as little as 17 seconds, it is actually an equivalent to 2,000 hours of action. Okay, so all that doing that we do to try and make something happen, if you actually hold the 17 seconds, this is equivalent to 2,000 hours. Now you guys you're going to have to play for it yourself. Like you seriously are going to have to play with this yourself to find out the truth in it, okay? Don't believe me, don't believe Abraham, play with it yourself. I know for me it's true, it's light in my world, and I play with this and I see what it creates, okay? So I, challenge you to do the same. Then, so the second thing is, if you add another 17 seconds and to this first 17 seconds, the effect is equivalent to 20,000 action hours. Add another 17 seconds and the effect is equivalent to 200,000 action hours. Continue a fourth time to 68 seconds of pure focused thought, and you've just leveraged that 1+ minute of thought effort to 2 million hours of physical action. Now, this can feel way beyond, it can feel unbelievable in this reality where we've been taught that you have to physically do things and you have to work really, really hard. Now, that's not saying that you don't choose something. Like you could be sitting on the couch and get the inspiration to, do an exercise program in your living room. You could go for a walk outside. You could be inspired to go to the neighborhood coffee shop and you end up meeting somebody and that person gifts you with something that you've been looking for. But there's a allowing yourself to be what you want the universe to respond to you for. So the quantum field responds not to what we want. It responds to who we being. So who we're being. So what are you being? Like really, really, really sit with yourself. Be honest with yourself. And allow yourself to really find out what you are actually being. So before, especially with regards to my body, I was being a sick person. I was being someone who was at the effect of my body. I was being someone who is at the effect of life. I was being a person who was a victim to my circumstance, to my past, to my body. And what I got brought to my knees with is I realized that I had to break the habit of being myself, as Dr. Joe Dispenza calls it. And I had to start asking, what would it be like if I was to no longer act or be like a person who is sick? So I'd have to start choosing different things. Now, this is where the 68 seconds comes in. So you can start with the 17, then you can go to the 34, then you can go to whatever 17 plus that is, and then you can go to the 17, which is 68 seconds, or do 69. 69 might be fun for you. It's a fun for a lot of people. Wink, wink. Or you can be like an overachiever, like a girlfriend of mine is, who was just like, heck, I'm not just doing a minute, I'm doing 2 minutes, and then I'm doing 5. And allow yourself to really receive the possibility of what this might create. Okay. So I am choosing this, and I'm choosing this more and more. So allow yourself to think of something that you really want, whatever it is for you. If it is a baby, if it is a job, if it is relationship, if it is just simply you'd like someone to buy you a cup of coffee, how would it feel to be gifted a cup of coffee? Okay, so just allow yourself to close your eyes and get into the energy of what it would feel like if someone's handing you that cup of coffee, or you drive up to a drive-through and you're there like, oh, just to let you know, the person in front of you paid for it. Like, how would you feel? Would you feel excited? Would you feel expansive? Would you feel like so honored? Like you matter and you make a difference in the world, and someone cares about you and desires to gift to you. And allow yourself to grow the muscle of receiving those energies that you desire to create, and allow the universe, the quantum field, to respond to what you are being. Okay, play with it. Let me know how it goes for you guys. I am so excited to play with this even more, because I just got this information like in such a clear way like the last couple days. So I'm so excited to share it with you, and so excited to play with it so much more myself. Anyways, you guys have an amazing day. I just adore you, and have fun. 68 seconds or 69, whatever turns you on.